Congressman John Conyers, the Michigan Democrat and longest serving member in the House, says he is stepping down as ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. This in direct response to the congressional investigation into sexual harassment and workplace abuse allegations leveled against Conyers by former staffers. In a statement, Conyers says, quote, "I deny these allegations, many of which were raised by documents reportedly paid for by a partisan alt-right blogger. I very much look forward to vindicating myself and my family before the House Committee on Ethics. I cannot in good conscience allow these charges to undermine my colleagues in the Democratic caucus and my friends on both sides of the aisle in the Judiciary Committee and the House of Representatives." End quote there. A senior Democratic aide tells CNN that Conyers' decision to step aside as ranking member comes after days of House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi working behind the scenes with Conyers and other Congressional Black Caucus members to lay the groundwork for Conyers to step aside gracefully in that matter. Joining me now, CNN's Kaylee Hartung. So, Kaylee, that statement from Pelosi also coming after she spoke out earlier today on the Sunday talk shows on Meet the Press. She had, I guess, varying comments about Conyers, his legacy, and these ongoing investigations.
Well, this morning on Meet the Press, Nancy Pelosi went so far as to call Conyers an icon. She refused to criticize him, and she said, "We are strengthened by due process." But now, with a better understanding, we believe, of the conversations that were ongoing behind the scenes between Conyers and Pelosi and the other members of the Black Congressional Caucus, it may help us better understand why she kept saying this morning she believed Conyers would do the right thing.
What is a fireable offense? You say it's zero tolerance,
Yes.
but what does that mean if you're saying John Conyers, who already had due process, gets to stay right now?
Well, as I said, we've asked for the Ethics Committee to review that, and I believe will do the right thing.
So after hearing Pelosi call Conyers an icon, say that he will do the right thing and punt all of this to the Ethics Committee, hearing that statement from her this afternoon after the news came out that Conyers would be stepping down as ranking member of that committee, it draws a harder line, don't you think, Fred?
Yeah, well, Congress also returning after their Thanksgiving break, and of course allegations of sexual harassment, misconduct as it pertains to the latest charges involving Conyers, or at least now people are talking about charges that, have some years between them. But then there's Al Franken as well. He's had statements about the allegations against him, but it's a new work day tomorrow. And we do understand that Al Franken will be talking to a local set of reporters in Minnesota. What more do we know?
Well, we don't know much, but we do expect to hear from him today, which we can only think will make some news. But when you have this sexual harassment conversation looming over all that Congress has on its plate coming up, you heard Nancy Pelosi there defer to the Ethics Committee, saying she needs that committee to investigate any wrongdoing here. She wasn't the only one. We heard that when it came to questions of Senator Al Franken. But there's also a Democrat who's taking a harder line.
Senator Franken, one of your colleagues, obviously on the other side of the aisle, he called for a Senate ethics investigation into himself. I think you concurred with that. What do you believe should be the threshold of whether he should still serve or not?
Well, the ethics investigation ought to go forward, and we ought to, get to all the facts.
Saying that we're going to have these allegations against politicians go before an ethics committee that can sometimes take a couple of years. No offense to my colleagues who are on the ethics committee, but that's not real. That's not real, and that's not accountability.
Conyers and Franken both say they will cooperate with the respective House and Senate ethics committees. But Fred, the history of these ethics committees so gray in their jurisdiction. It's a court of public opinion. You are asking peers to judge their peers. It will be very interesting to see what light is shined on the proceedings that happen behind those closed doors with such a bright spotlight on this discussion.